what's up, y'all? Welcome to another primetime edition of that must-see YT your grand football show. Welcome to Pro Football Chat. I am your host, your resident pigskin prophet, Freddie Football. And today we're going to talk about what's been going on in free agency in the NFL. So with that, let's get started. Welcome to you once again. Much love to you out there. Those of you that have subscribed to me, thank you for your support. And those of you that are watching for the first time, hit that subscribe button. Give me all your comments. Show some love to the pigskin prophet. All right. Free agency. This is a time during the year where even before the draft is very crucial for every team. Very, very crucial because it can affect a team's cap space. It could also affect a team either moving forward or moving backward. So these players are very vital, and some players are better fit in some places than others. So it's just a matter of the whole organization as a whole for every football team, from the owner to the GM, the general manager, to the coaches, even to some other players that might point out and say, hey, this person on this squad, I played with them in college, or I played with them on another team, and I think they'll be a valuable asset. So free agency is a very, very critical time. In my opinion, it's a very critical time, even with the draft being as important as the draft is every year. The time of free agency is vital because you can pick up an acquisition or a player that could possibly lead you to a Super Bowl, or that can get you over the hump last year, provided you were a team that did not make the playoffs. So you can acquire a top quality player that can do a little more for you and get you over that hump and get you into the postseason, or that defensive player that might be the final call on the defense that can stop a team, that can stop great teams, and you could possibly be Super Bowl caliber. So, I mean, these players are very vital, very important, but the whole key is getting the right fit, and the whole key is using your money wisely, because there's teams out there that need a quarterback, and they're probably going to pay their arm, their leg, your leg to get what they want. But is that what they really need? Is that for that? If you're going to spend, let's say a quarterback, and you're willing to bring him in on a 4-year deal and spend $60 to $70 million on this guy. He's a good player. He's a good acquisition. He's got some playoff wins under his belt, but he's never won a Super Bowl. Is it worth it? So you just have to factor in a lot of things: his talent, his leadership skills, how he relates in the locker room, how he affects other players around him for good or bad. What's his attitude? Is he an optimist, or is he a narcissist, or is he pessimistic? So it's just a lot of things that factor in when you look at these players. You look at the man's character. You know, is he a good player? Is he honest? Is he a good leader? Does he communicate well with others? How does he react when he makes a bad play, or if his team loses? How does he bounce back? Is he a bounce back kind of player, or is he a player when he loses, he's just done? So it's just a lot of factoring into these things that I'm sure that the coaches, that the GM, that the staff looks at, the coordinators. I'm sure they watch plenty of hours of film on these guys and try to figure out what's the best fit for them. So we're going to go into it. As Chandler Jones from the New England Patriots, he is going to be a Las Vegas Raider. He signed a 3-year deal for $51 million. Chandler Jones, he'll be a better fit in the Raiders' defensive scheme. Josh McDaniels, the coach, used to be in New England. He's now with the Raiders, as well as Chandler Jones's former coach, defensive coach in New England, Patrick Graham. So he's reuniting with him and with his coach. So I think that tells me that he will be a very good fit in Las Vegas. Edge, Hassan Reddick from the Arizona Cardinals, a very good edge. He's going to the Philadelphia Eagles. He's signing a 3-year, $45 million contract. This acquisition is going to add some spice, of course, to the Philly pass rush. So I think that was a good pickup for them. Safety Justin Reed from the Houston Texans. He's going to Kansas City, and more than likely he's going to replace safety Tyrann Mathieu, who is a very, very good, versatile player, very good playmaker. He is about to depart Kansas City, so they bring in Justin Reed. They sign him to a 3-year, $40.5 million deal. It would be a much different look for the Chiefs secondary, but Reed is more of a center field type player, type safety. So I think he's a good pickup. He's young and he's healthy, so I think he'll be a good acquisition for the Chiefs. All right, big one right here, very big one. Edge rusher Von Miller, and of course you know who Von Miller is. Started his career with the Denver Broncos, won a Super Bowl there with Peyton Manning. He goes from the Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams to the Buffalo Bills. Now, I think Von Miller, in my opinion, Buffalo is, they got some acquisitions there. They got defensive tackle Tim Settle from Washington. That's a good pickup on that defensive line. And Von Miller, he's going to make Buffalo better. They're going to be now on the defensive side of the ball more dangerous with him. He signs a 6-year deal for $120 million, and he gets $45 million in guaranteed pesos. $45 million. Like I said, Von Miller, I think he would be a good acquisition somewhere like San Francisco or with the Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers, of course, have Joey Bosa. Now they have Khalil Mack, who's been traded. So they're going to form an awesome pass rushing duo there. And I think he'd be a great fit in San Francisco with Joey Bosa's brother, Nick. I think they would make a great pass rushing duo. So I think Von Miller would be a great fit in San Francisco. But, of course, he's going to Buffalo. 6-year deal, $120 million, $45 million in guaranteed pesos. Edge rusher Randy Gregory from the Dallas Cowboys. He couldn't work out a deal in Dallas. They didn't give him what he wanted. So he is now migrated to the Denver Broncos. He signed a 5-year deal for $70 million with $28 million in guaranteed pesos, guaranteed dollars. So Randy Gregory is going to Denver, and he will be, I think he'll be good on that defensive line for them. The Los Angeles Chargers, who had a rough season last year, obviously stopping the run. I thought they made some smart moves by picking up 2 of the league's premier run stoppers, and Sebastian Joseph Day, the defensive lineman, and Austin Johnson, and they both have familiarity with Coach Staley's system. So LA's pass defense, they left a lot to be desired. Staley, he likes to play with light boxes, encourage the run, but he also lets his corners man up on the outside so the safeties can roam and make good plays. So that's basically his defensive philosophy. Last year they didn't have good enough man coverage, so now they signed cornerback C.J. Jackson, and by having him on board, that should change that. Team him with Asante Samuel Jr. on the outside and Derwin James, and that leaves him free to do a lot more as a hybrid safety, because Derwin James is a playmaker. He's like a safety slash linebacker slash corner. He's very good. So the Los Angeles Chargers, I think they'll be stronger on defense with these pickups and these acquisitions. And they basically did their homework. They did the job. And oh yeah, did I forget to mention, or I did mention earlier, that they traded for Khalil Mack from the Chicago Bears. So now he's going to be side by side with Joey Bosa. And perhaps they'll be one of the best pass rushing duos in the entire league. So looking forward to that. And not bad for a week's work for the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I think the biggest splash so far in free agency, to me, so far, is the Jacksonville Jaguars, because they made some moves on their offense. Trevor Lawrence, the rookie quarterback last year, struggled, but showed sparks, showed flashes of greatness. Coach Urban Meyer was fired, and he's now replaced by former Philadelphia coach Doug Peterson. He comes in, try to revamp the Jaguars, try to rebuild. They signed wide receiver Christian Kirk from the Arizona Cardinals. They signed him to a 4-year deal worth $72 million. He gets $37 in guaranteed money. Kirk is a very dangerous deep threat. I think he will be a weapon, an added weapon for Trevor Lawrence. Offensive guard Brandon Sheriff. He comes from Washington. He signs a 3-year deal for $49.5 million. He gets $30 million in guaranteed money. Wide receiver Zay Jones. He gets 3 years, signs a 3-year deal, $24 million, $14 million in guaranteed pesos. Tight end Evan Ingram comes from the New York Giants. I think he'll be a great addition to the Jaguars. He signs a 1-year, $9 million deal, 8.25 in guaranteed pesos. The Miami Dolphins sign offensive guard Connor Williams from the Dallas Cowboys. He signs a 2-year, $14 million deal. He gets half of that, $7.5 million in guaranteed money. Quarterback Teddy Bridgewater from the Broncos. He signs a 1-year, $6.5 million deal with the Miami Dolphins. He'll more than likely be the journeyman backup to Tua Tagliavoa. Running back Raheem Mostert, very, very fast, speedy running back, comes from the 49ers. He signs a 1-year deal for $2.125 million. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they signed quarterback Mitchell Trubisky from the Buffalo Bills. He signs a 2-year deal, $14.2 million, 5.25 in guaranteed pesos. Other noteworthy signings around the league, I can't believe this one. Wide receiver Dante Adams goes from the Green Bay Packers to the Las Vegas Raiders. Why in the world, Green Bay, would you want to give up, unless they wanted to give up the cap space, of course? Aaron Rodgers no longer has Devontae Adams as a threat because he's now a Raider. He signs a 5-year deal worth $141.5 million. That's a serious cash cow. Moo, moo. Wide receiver Allen Robinson from the Chicago Bears. He goes to the Super Bowl champion LA Rams. He signs a 3-year deal for $46.5 million. Offensive tackle Morgan Moses signs a 3-year deal worth $15 million with the Baltimore Ravens. Tight end O.J. Howard goes from Tampa to Buffalo. He signs a 1-year, $3.5 million deal. So, with that said, this is near the end of my show. And before I go, I want you to put down in a comment, because I'm going to ask you, who are your top 10 greatest free agent signings of all time? And I will definitely give you mine. And just to give you a piece of the pie, I'll share my number 10, one of my number 10 greatest free agent signings of all time. And at number 10, and I'll reveal the rest on the next show, is linebacker Mike Vrabel. He was a New England Patriot, a 3-time Super Bowl winner, but he started his career with the Pittsburgh Steelers. He was a role player, but Coach Bill Belichick was a master at taking parts and spares and making them into a juggernaut for his team. And Mike Vrabel was one of those players. He was a very good linebacker. He helped New England to go to the Super Bowl 3 times. And he is the only player, defensive player, in Super Bowl history to catch a touchdown reception in the Super Bowl. He did it twice. So, with that said, that's going to end my show for today. Stay tuned for the next show. I'm going to do it on my team, the Washington Commanders. I'm going to go over the free agency and talk a little bit about that, their new acquisitions and the upcoming draft. So, I am your host, Pigskin Prophet, oink oink, Freddie Football. Thank you for joining me in another edition of Pro Football Chat. You guys have a great weekend. Peace.